The next Mario Kart game for Switch 2 is going to have 24 racers in a lobby. This is insane and will change everything from gameplay mechanics, tracks, and items. But today I want to talk about the most important thing, the character roster. Okay, I'm slightly kidding. Obviously, picking your Mario Kart driver is not nearly as important as, say, the character selection process in Smash Bros. But characters in Mario Kart, despite just having slight statistical differences from each other, are still really important because it makes the game feel unique. You get to pick your racer, and that's your digital avatar throughout a circuit. In a game with now 24 racers, we're gonna have to have a lot more character options so that everyone can still feel unique and we don't have lobbies filled up with like 9 different Yoshis. So in this video, we're going to be going over 100 new racers from the Mario series that I would love to see in Mario Kart for Switch 2. Will all of these happen? No, definitely not. Will any of these happen? Damn, I would hope so. It would be pretty embarrassing to toss out 100 ideas and none of them happened. And some of these ideas have actually already been teased, but at the end of the day, this is just for fun. I love Mario Kart, and the size of the next game's roster gets me really excited with this 24-player revelation. Last thing, we're not going to be including any Mario Kart 8 Deluxe characters in this list, but every other past Mario Kart entry is fair game here. Not that there's that many that weren't already in 8 Deluxe. But with that all out of the way, hey guys, welcome to the Switch Stop, and this is 100 new characters I'd love to see in Mario Kart for the Switch 2. First things first, let's start it all off with Charge and Chuck. Now, these are not in order, but Charge and Chuck is probably towards the top of my most requested characters. Chuck seems like the perfect blend of iconic enough and featured in enough games, but also still unique, and I would want to race as him, as I love American football, and I don't think we're getting that Mario NFL Madden crossover game anytime soon, but I wouldn't imagine him to become like a new fan favorite or anything, so he could be my unique character. Number 2, we have Nabbit. Now, just like Charge and Chuck, Nabbit was actually in Mario Kart Tour, but unlike Charge and Chuck, Nabbit has already been teased for this new game. Does that confirm Nabbit as a raceable character? No, but it definitely helps his chances. For number 3, we have Paratroopa. This guy first appeared in Mario Kart Double Dash, and then never again. Paratroopa was added in as a counterpart racer to Koopa Troopa, but I don't feel like they need to be a costume and they could be their own racer, because you could just make them an even lighter weight class than Koopa Troopa, because, I don't know, maybe the wings are flapping and raising him off the ground. Paratroopa just seems like a nice throwback to Double Dash, and speaking of throwbacks, number 4, we have Honey Queen. Just like Paratroopa, Honey Queen appeared in Mario Kart 7, but then never again. And I can tell why. It is bizarre that you are racing as a bee in Mario Kart. Obviously, this is a reference to Super Mario Galaxy, where the Honey Queen appeared in that game, and also Mario could turn into a bee. What was going on in the Wii era? So Honey Queen would be cool to see come back, if nothing but for a reference. Next up, we have Hammer Bro. Hammer Bro, along with his, well, brothers, Ice Bro and Fire Bro, all appeared in Mario Kart Tour. However, I think only Hammer Bro should appear in Mario Kart 9 for Switch 2. The other ones could just be costumes, but Hammer Bro would be awesome. He's an iconic enemy dating all the way back to the original Super Mario Bros. On the NES. You remember like 2 seconds ago when I said the other bros like Fire and Ice Bro could be costumes? Well, that would not work with Sumo Bro because he is huge.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
Yeah, this guy would definitely be a different weight class from the other Hammer Bro type enemies, but I would love to be able to race as him, and we also can already see Sumo Bro in this game, as there are a bunch of Sumo Bros on the side cheering you on, which I don't think we've ever seen before in a Mario Kart game. So maybe that's hinting that, hey, they already did the model, they're gonna make him playable? I don't know. For number 7, we have Monty Mole. This is just a cute little enemy. He was my favorite part about Super Mario Party, and I'd love to see him raceable. For number 8, we have Donkey Kong Jr. Now, Donkey Kong Jr. was actually available to race as in the original Super Mario Kart on the SNES. DK Jr. then later made his return in Mario Kart Tour as this 2D pixelated sprite, but I'm hoping they just completely redesign him in the same way that they just redesigned Donkey Kong for this game. I know this might be controversial, so let me know your takes on the redesign down in the comments below, but this redesign has really grown on me, and that's coming from someone who wasn't even that upset they did it when I first saw it. The more and more I look at it, the more I think, yeah, this is hilarious. Give me all of this. Donkey Kong Jr. included. Number 9, we have Boom Boom. This guy is often a little mini boss in different Mario games like Super Mario 3D World, and I think he's just iconic and fun. Same goes for his sister, or at least I think they're sisters, Pom Pom. Once again, these just seem like characters that Nintendo has kind of been throwing into random games, with Pom Pom also being playable in Super Mario Party. So hey, why not throw him into this one? For number 11, we have Ninja. Speaking of characters that just show up where they're not expected, this guy was playable in Super Mario Party Jamboree, and also is an integral part of Super Mario Maker filmmaker, as the Ninja speedruns are entirely themed around, well, yeah, Ninja. Also, I'm just gonna be honest, this guy is super cute. I think he's super funny. He just looks a little goofy, but once again, this would not surprise me at all. These first 11 characters have been characters that I really would not be shocked at all to see included. I guess maybe besides Donkey Kong Jr., that one's a bit of a stretch. But don't worry, because as this list goes on, we get to some more obscure and quite frankly hilarious characters. Next up, we have the blooper, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, I really kinda hope that the blooper does not return as an item in this next game. I understand it's iconic, and I even kind of appreciate the idea of it. Blocking people's screens is a unique mechanic. However, I think the blooper has just entirely run its course as an item, and I actually had quite a few suggestions of items that could also hurt the player and impair their vision in this video, so I'll link it at the end of this one if you're interested. But yeah, if the blooper's not an item, or I guess even if it is an item, I'd still love to see the blooper raceable in Mario Kart. If I'm talking about the Gooper, I gotta move over to the Gooper blooper. This is a big boss from Super Mario Sunshine, and man, I mean, look at these tentacles. Wrap these around the race wheel and you will be set, Gooper blooper. This guy is going to be a demon on the racetrack. Sticking with the theme of characters that are already items in the game, next up we have Piranha Plant. Now I want to talk about this one for plenty of reasons. One, the Piranha Plant item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe might be my least favorite item in that entire game. It's the true definition of a jack of all trades, master of none, while also being forced to the front of your cart. So for the duration of the item, you have zero protection from any red shells or green shells coming in from behind you. I will be thoroughly disappointed if this item returns in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I like Piranha Plant, man. He's funny and you can play as him in Smash Bros. He shouldn't be on the front of the cart, put him in the cart, Nintendo. Next we have Bullet Bill. I don't even know how this would work. Technically, I guess he does have arms. Would Bullet Bill be like vertical in the cart, or would he be facing forward, but his arms are like little T-Rex arms? How would he reach the wheel? Also, there's no way they're removing the Bullet Bill item, so I think it would be funny if the Bullet Bill turned into a Bullet Bill. This fits the same sort of category as the Wiggler Racer to me, where it's just like, does this make any sense? No. But dang it, man, if it isn't funny. For number 16, we have Glydon. We're gonna be talking about a couple Super Mario Odyssey characters in this list. The next couple of characters are all from Odyssey, but my most requested one has gotta be Glydon. Yes, I know, even more than Cappy or other more iconic characters from this game. I don't know why, I just love this little guy. Not only is he super fun to use in Odyssey, letting you fly all around the different kingdoms you've already explored, but he also looks like he'd fit more as a Mario Kart racer than a lot of other characters. I mean, he already stands on two legs, and who knows, if gliding does make a return, maybe he could just open up his wings and glide that way, rather than having a glider deploy from the cart itself. That is kind of a crazy wish for one character, but man, that would be iconic. For number 17, sticking with Odyssey, we have the Chivarian. Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest, these guys are cute. I don't know if Nintendo sells plushes of these. I think that might be tied with no themes on Nintendo Switch for the most free money that Nintendo is just actively burning by not offering this to their consumers. Okay, I kid, this guy doesn't have like a ton of fans, or at least I'm not familiar if he does, but dang it, man, the Snow Kingdom is one of my favorites in Odyssey, and it's entirely thanks to these guys. Their little bound ball minigame is also a racing game, so thematically it does kind of fit, and these, I don't even know what they are. Are they like a seal, walrus? Who knows? Well, they're Chivarians, and they should be in the next Mario Kart game. Next is a New Donk Citizen. Yeah, if I'm gonna talk about Odyssey, this guy just has to be included. Would it make any sense? No, but they're already in Odyssey, and I'm really hoping we get some sort of New Donk City inspired track for this next game, so if we did, this would fit perfectly. Alright, number 19 is probably a character I would only ever race if they added him in. Like, I wouldn't play anyone else, and that is the Moai. Yeah, these goofy Easter Island looking statue guys from Mario Odyssey are just hilarious to me. Between the sick earrings and awesome shades, these guys just exude cool energy. Now, they don't have any hands, so that might be a slight issue, but dude, I mean, come on, it's the Moai. These things are hilarious. Also, the Easter Island emoji is like my favorite emoji ever, so I don't know. Next up, we have the Mumsy. This is the mummy enemy from Super Mario Wonder, and well, there's really not too much to say beyond that. Prince Florian is the little caterpillar guy from Super Mario Wonder, and despite being apparently like 3 inches tall, I don't know, give this guy a mega mushroom or something and get him behind the wheel. Next, we have Stella. Wait, who is this? Okay, I kid. This is the companion you get in Princess Peach Showtime. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Showtime was a pretty big disappointment. However, Princess Peach has her fans, and considering this is one of the few characters that can be directly linked to Peach and not like Mario or any other part of the Mushroom Kingdom, I'd love to see Stella be represented. Oh God, okay, so for the next 3, I did lose a bet. I'm not gonna elaborate beyond just saying the character names. These ones I don't think I want. The title might have been clickbait. These are not characters I want in the game. For number 23, 24, and 25, we have Rabid Mario, Rabid Peach, and Rabid Luigi. Oh God. I'm not elaborating anymore. I'm already losing sleep over the fact that these are in the video. For number 26, we have Geno, the iconic character from Super Mario RPG. Now, Geno has kind of taken on a life of his own because despite being neglected for many, many years, the character always seems to pop up in discussions specifically around the Super Smash Bros. Series. With the Super Mario RPG remake, there's no better time than now for Geno to finally make his return in Mario Kart. Yeah, I don't want to play as him in Smash Bros, but Mario Kart, yeah, that would be fine. Sticking with Super Mario RPG, number 27 is Mallow. Same sort of thing. I feel like they just made this Super Mario RPG remake, so if these guys are literally ever going to be included in any Mario Kart spin-off, I feel like this is the one. They need a bunch of characters to fit this massive roster. They also just remade this game for what, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna eventually remake it like 20, 30 years down the line again, but you know, it's not like they're doing a ton with the Super Mario RPG characters besides that remake. If it's gonna happen, I feel like it would be now. For number 28, we have a virus, aka those germs from Dr. Mario. We haven't gotten an actual Dr. Mario game in a while. The last one we got was Dr. Mario World, which already shut down on phone. So I'm not super expecting anything like this, but I don't know. I think the viruses have always been a little funny, and yeah, I'm fine with them being added. Okay, number 29 is King Bob-omb. Yeah, it's crazy it took me this long to get to him because he is a big fan favorite and also appeared in Tour. There's really not too much to say besides the fact that, hey, if they still have Bob-ombs in this game, having King Bob-omb hold a Bob-omb to throw, I think that would be hilarious. Go, my minions! Jumping back to Super Mario Odyssey, that game introduced a lot of new characters in the form of the Broodals. For a minute there, I thought these would be Koopaling replacements for the Switch era. We really haven't seen much of them since though, and that's a shame because I love their designs. I'd love to see Harriet, Topper, Ringo, and Spewart all return as playable characters in the next Mario Kart game. I mean, if they can add every single Koopaling in, they can add these guys, right? Okay, we're not actually done with the Broodals though, because next we have Madame Brood. This is the boss fight that first appears in the Cascade Kingdom, and she is huge. They definitely have to scale her down to fit in the carts, but I also think her design is just hilarious. Like, you can't really look at her and not laugh. In Mario Odyssey, Madame Brood uses a chain chomp. That's the next racer I'd love to see. I mean, come on. Again, I know he doesn't have arms, but he can play tennis. Next, we have Paper Mario. This is the iconic character from the Mario and Luigi series. Wait. Jokes aside, Paper Mario is awesome, and with the remake of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, it seems like the series has had a bit of a resurgence in terms of like the good graces of the public. I also just like the idea of a completely flat character racing around, kind of like how Game & Watch is on Super Smash Bros. Next, we have Boo Mario from Super Mario Galaxy. I just think the little ghost mustache is hilarious. And following that, we have Shadow Mario. This is one of the only characters in this list that I would say actually probably should just be a costume, but for some reason, I don't really see it. Shadow Mario in Super Mario Sunshine is, well, spoiler alert, not actually Mario. Because of that, it would feel weird to have him as a costume for Mario, especially when we have a similar sort of thing with Peachette in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where like Peachette, okay, let's just be honest, that is a Peach costume, that's a Peach variant, but technically Peachette is actually Toadette with the Super Crown, so maybe that's why they gave her a different slot, I don't know. Speaking of Sunshine though, next we have Flood. The Flash Liquidator Ultra Dowsing device is an iconic part of Super Mario Sunshine. Will Flood be a racer in the next Mario Kart game? I'm gonna come out and say no, but hey man, it would be cool. For number 40, we have Foreman Spike, who actually just reappeared in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, so they could take his design from that to further cross-promote the entire Mario brand, and we can't have Foreman Spike without just Spike. Yep, that's right. For number 41, we have this little green guy. I've always been a massive fan of Spike, unless he kills me, then I hate him. But seriously though, I think he's pretty funny and would love to see him raceable. For number 42, we have Captain Toad. Now again, I know I just gave that whole spiel about costumes, but in Mario Kart Tour, Captain Toad was not a costume or just a reskin of another character. He had his own logo, which was just the Toad logo with a little head strap, on his cart whenever you'd race as him, indicating that he was his own separate character. Nintendo views these as separate characters, and therefore he deserves a spot on this list. Next, let's jump to a different country. That's right, Donkey Kong Country. You see what I did there? Number 43 and 44 are Cranky Kong and Dixie Kong. We already have Donkey and Diddy Kong, or at least we're assuming Diddy Kong will be in this next game, but Cranky and Dixie would be iconic to round out that core Donkey Kong crew, and also I would love to see them also get a redesign in the same vein as Donkey Kong, which is the main reason they're on this video. 45 is King K. Rool. I don't even know if I really need to say anything here. Everyone loves King K. Rool. He was a huge inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Ultimate, but hasn't really appeared in a ton of Mario spin-offs. The only one I remember is Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii. So yeah, put him in Mario Kart. And if King K. Rool's getting in, add in a Kremling too. These little alligator guys from Donkey Kong Country seem like they would have some crazy road rage, so put them behind the wheel. Next we have Koopa Kid, who's more obscure than anything. This kind of fits the Donkey Kong Jr. type character, where we don't really see him much anymore because they've been replaced by, well, just a better character. I'm sorry, Bowser Jr. is better than Koopa Kid. He just makes more sense. But Koopa Kid does have an entirely separate design and would be fun to race with. For number 48, we have King Penguin from the Mario movie. This guy started off the entire movie by just getting annihilated by Bowser, but he's a cute little character and I'd love to see him included because I feel like penguins have always kind of gotten a bad rep in Mario with, you know, the whole murder thing going on in Super Mario 64. Sticking with the Mario movie though, let's talk about the Blue Shell Koopa General. Spoiler alert for the Mario movie, but this guy turns into, well, you guessed it, a blue shell. I mean, he was iconic and probably the best part of that entire Mario Kart sequence in the Mario movie, so I'd love to see him included. For number 50, we have Professor Egad. Egad was supposedly a racer early on in the development of Mario Kart DS, and it's finally time for Nintendo to bring him back for real. Not only is this just something I want, but the Luigi's Mansion series has kind of gone crazy recently. Luigi's Mansion 3 positioned the series from a fun fan favorite that never really had a ton of sales power to one of Nintendo's premier series. This thing sold well over 10 million copies, which is enough to where they decided to remake Luigi's Mansion 2 on the Switch. I have still no clue why they did this. I guess they just think the Luigi's Mansion series is that big now, and in that case, let us race as Egad. He's the most iconic original character from that series. Next, we have Captain Syrup, the leader of the Black Sugar Gang from the Wario Land series. I want the Wario Land series to come back. Wario Land 4 on the Game Boy Advance is a really underrated gem from Nintendo, and while I don't think Wario Land will come back, I don't know, at least getting Captain Syrup in Mario Kart would be kind of a nod towards that. 52, we have Poochie. Poochie was actually added to Mario Kart Tour very late in that game's content cycle, alongside the Yoshi's Island track that was obviously added in Wave 4 of the Booster Course Pass. If you've seen my video ranking every single track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you'll know that I love Yoshi's Island. It was extremely high up on that list, but it does slightly bother me that they made Poochie for Mario Kart Tour, and then they started adding in new characters with Wave 4, and then we never got Poochie in 8 Deluxe. I don't know, let the good boy race, Nintendo. For number 53, we have Toadsworth, who is just like the royal advisor to Peach, but like a toad. This guy is another character who's kind of missing in action, but I'd love to see him return. And 54 is Goomboss, also known as the Goomba King or King Goomba. This big mustachioed Goomba with his crazy eyes has been a boss fight in a bunch of different Mario games and would just be perfect as a Mario Kart driver. He's just kind of funny. And if we're gonna talk about Goomboss, we have to talk about, well, Goomba. Yes, I know, Goomba has no arms. I don't care. Maybe he can use those messed up teeth as his to drive the wheel. I don't know. If we're gonna add in Goomba, I'd also want to see Goombette. This could theoretically be another costume situation, but again, Goombette is different from Goomba, I guess. And speaking of generic Mario enemies that have no business operating a motor vehicle, we have Cheep Cheep. Yeah, I'm not gonna explain this one. Next up, we have Bowser Fury's Bowser. Wait, where is he? Oh my god! Next up, we have Princess Shroob from Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I'd really like to see the next Mario Kart game increase its roster of villains. The Koopalings get boring after a while, and besides them, there's not a ton on the roster as we know it. Princess Shroob would fix that. Okay, if you got mad over Goomba and Cheep Cheep because they have no business operating a motor vehicle, you're not gonna like this one. I want Thwomp. Yes, I'm serious. Screw it, let's get Womp too. This one actually makes a bit more sense. Womp does have arms, and for Thwomp and Womp, this isn't the only reason I want them in, but a main reason is because when you do tricks and characters do their little voice lines, it would just be hilarious to hear these guys making their weird little voices during a Mario Kart race. For number 62, we have Baby Donkey Kong. Yes, this is an actual character that exists. For number 63, we have Baby Pauline. No, this is not a character that exists. However, Nintendo straight up made Baby Rosalina for Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. A couple of the other guys working at Switchtop actually have a side bet on whether or not this character is going to appear. Yes, Baby Pauline sounds crazy, but honestly, considering the fact that they love the baby characters in Mario Kart and the fact that they created Baby Rosalina for 8, I think she's kind of inevitable.
I am inevitable.
For number 64, we have the Piantas. These guys have often been on the sideline of many different Mario Kart courses, so now it's their time to shine. Number 65 is Cappy from Super Mario Odyssey. I see a lot of people who want Cappy in, and I can understand why. I mean, Cappy is sick and makes Odyssey such a good game, but despite being the new original character from, at least as of right now, the most recent 3D Mario game, I'm not entirely sure if I see him being included. Next, we have Lubba, who's the captain of Starship Mario in Super Mario Galaxy 2. This big purple Luma is hilarious. And then for number 67 and 68, we have Dory and Plessy. Don't ask me how either of these guys would fit into a cart, but Plessy, my beloved, I long to race as you one day. For number 69, we have Wart. Yes, Wart. As the main antagonist of the bizarre Super Mario Bros. 2, this guy hasn't been seen a lot, but he was seen recently as he was remade for Link's Awakening in 2019. Next, we have just a standard Luma from Super Mario Galaxy, and considering Rosalina doesn't have like a Luma that always follows her like in the Super Smash Bros. Series, I could definitely see this happening. Okay, number 71 is a bit insane, but stick with me now. I'm talking about Rock. Yes, these are the giant stone hands with an eye in the center of them, found in Super Mario 64. Now let me get this straight. No one, and I know, no one is asking for Rock to be raceable in the next Mario Kart game. However, if Rock was raceable and didn't have just like the worst stats of any character ever, he would probably be one of the most competitively viable characters in the game. Think about it. These two hands grip the steering wheel and, well, that's it. You can see through where your character would normally be, allowing you to potentially spot some tricky bananas that would normally be blocked. For number 72, we have Noki, also from Super Mario Sunshine, and number 73 is Il Piantissimo, which is just some guy wearing a Pianta costume. Yes, this is an actual character in the Mario games. I think this guy's hilarious, and I love the fan theory I've heard that this is actually Matt, aka the insanely overpowered and often memed me that you could play against in Wii Sports. Number 74 is Dry Bowser Jr. Yeah, okay, I promise the rest of the characters are better than this one, but hey, I mean, if they're gonna add Dry Bowser to the game like they did in Mario Kart 8, it's not the craziest thing. Number 75 is the intimidating Count Bleck from Super Paper Mario. Similarly to Paper Mario, who I talked about earlier, this would be one of those characters who's flat like Game & Watch from Smash Bros, which I just think is a novel idea and something we really haven't seen in Mario Kart before. Except for those sprite characters in Tour, yes, I know they exist, you don't need to comment about them, okay. Number 76 is Poplin, which are just the toads of the Flower Kingdom. And sticking with Mario Wonder, yeah, you know it's coming. I want the talking flower from that game. Not necessarily because it makes any sense as a driver, I mean, it's literally a flower, but mainly because I expect every single racetrack, if this character is included, to have unique dialogue of him just like noticing different things on the racetrack as you pass them. Number 78 is Pokey, another iconic Mario character, and number 79 is Olivia from Paper Mario The Origami King. For number 80, let's jump to Kukateel, who's the big flying boss in the Luncheon Kingdom of Odyssey. I love this design and we really haven't seen anything from them since, so I think they would be a neat racer and a pretty funny one too. However, not as funny as the next character, Biddy Bud. Okay, so how is a Biddy Bud funny? Well, these are just generic Mario enemies, but you probably know there is a Biddy Buggy in Mario Kart, so this would kind of be like the Wiggler riding on the Wiggler ATV type situation here. For number 82, we have Bert the Bashful. This is a boss from Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, and I just love the Berts in general. I don't know why he has these pants, I don't know why he's like a sphere, but I don't know, I think the design is pretty cute. And next up for 83, we have MC Ballyhoo. Yes, that's right, the Master of Ceremonies, or actually what MC stands for, Master of Catastrophe himself, of Mario Party 8 would be hilarious to race as in the next Mario Kart game. It makes absolutely zero sense, and I do not expect to see this guy brought back, but man, I love Mario Party 8, so I would really enjoy that. For number 84, we have the Bandits. These little blue guys kind of blend together the Berts and MC Ballyhoo I mentioned before, as they actually originated in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, just like the Berts, but I first encountered them in Mario Party 8, where you could find them on different maps and they would go steal stuff. I just think they're fun yet overlooked characters. For number 85, we have Admiral Bobbery, who is this sick looking Captain Bob-omb from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. And number 86, we have Dimentio. This is one of the minions of Count Bleck, who I talked about earlier, and I think their design is really cool. For number 87, we have Phanto. These guys are absolutely evil in Super Mario Bros. 2. They're incredibly hard enemies in that game, where they guard different keys, but also, well, they just look evil. This thing would be terrifying. Imagine this mushrooming past you. Number 88 is Snoutlet. I picked a decent amount of characters from different Mario RPG games, simply because, well, they actually have characters. So it only felt right to pick one from Mario and Luigi Brothership, and in terms of character designs from that game, it's Snoutlet no question. Number 89 is the Sprixie from the Sprixie Kingdom of Super Mario 3D World. You may have heard before that I really enjoy that game, so yeah, let us race as a Sprixie. This would also be quite simply one of the easiest recolors in history. You know how they do like the Shy Guy and Yoshi recolors where you can just pick a different color? Yeah, that's just what the Sprixies are. I swear to God, if they add every single Sprixie and they take up like 8 slots on the character roster like the Koopalings, I will lose it. Sticking with Super Mario 3D World, one of my favorite bosses from that game is Histocrat. However, that's not who I'm picking. I'd rather see Motley Boss Blob. I think this guy just makes a lot more sense to be a racer in Mario Kart, and I can even imagine one of his trick animations now where he turns all metallic like in his boss fight in Super Mario 3D World. Okay, so that was character number 90, meaning we only have 10 more. For the final 10, I'm going to be picking characters from other Nintendo franchises because, love it or hate it, there's a decent chance that some non-Mario characters are in this next game. Whether they're in there at launch or added as DLC, I don't know what'll happen, but it seems weird that they would add them for 8 Deluxe and then not include them in Mario Kart games going forward. The first one I want to see is Captain Falcon. This absolutely blows my mind that he's not in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, considering we have 2 F-Zero tracks and his vehicle as a vehicle cart you can choose. After that, we have Kirby. This guy actually does have some racing experience with the electric Kirby Air Ride from GameCube. I love that game. In fact, it was actually included on our list of the top 100 greatest Nintendo games ever. It was pretty early on that list, but it still made the list. For number 93, we have Zelda. I feel like out of all the third-party characters, this is probably the most likely one to show up. Obviously, because I'm not including any characters in this video who were already in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I can't talk about like the Animal Crossing characters or Inklings or Link, but assuming that those characters are in the next game, which I don't think is guaranteed at all, but just assuming that they are, I feel like out of every third-party character they could add, they would probably add Zelda. For number 94, we have Samus Aran. The only reason I included Samus, well, there's 2 reasons. One, Samus is just cool, but mainly, if this game comes out around the vicinity of Metroid Prime 4, which, well, it will, considering both games are almost definitely coming out this year, this would be some good cross-promotion. It would get kids playing Mario Kart to be like, oh, who is this? And then maybe they check out Prime 4 or Prime Remastered, something like that. Number 95, we have Greninja. This is another tie-in character, but specifically with Pokemon Legends ZA. Greninja is by far the most iconic Pokemon from Kalos, and considering the entirety of Legends ZA is supposedly set within one city of Kalos, this is another good tie-in character. If I'm gonna add Greninja, I just simply have to say Pikachu. So Pikachu will be number 96. I mean, it's just one of the most iconic characters in anything ever. For number 98, we're going from a very iconic character to a forgotten one. Yeah, I'm talking about Star Fox or Fox McCloud. I would very much like to see Fox McCloud added, mainly because everyone got so excited over that I'm assuming it was fake, but that Star Fox racing rumor from a while back. There's a reason that people got excited for that. That's a cool idea, it's a cool concept, and I'd love to see Fox McCloud in the next Mario Kart. Okay, these final 3 characters are a little crazy, but they're really cool. Number 97 is Rob. Now, this is the least crazy of these characters because Rob has actually been playable before. That's right, Mario Kart DS featured Rob, and I don't really know why, but not only would seeing Rob again be a nice throwback to Mario Kart DS, but he's just a cool character. It's bizarre yet incredibly cool to see a physical toy that Nintendo put out translated as a playable character within any Nintendo video game. I like playing Rob in Super Smash Bros, and I'd like racing as Rob in Mario Kart. Number 99 is Pac-Man. And yes, I know, this is not a Nintendo character. In fact, spoiler alert, number 100 isn't either. However, Pac-Man is actually possibly pretty likely, as once again, Pac-Man has been raceable in Mario Kart before. The Mario Kart arcade games were developed by Bandai Namco in partnership with Nintendo, and considering Pac-Man was the first ever third-party character added into Mario Kart, I think it would be pretty sick to see him included. Number 100, okay, this will not happen. There are so many reasons this will not happen that I'll get into, but man, I don't care. I'd like to see Sonic. Okay, though, hear me out. This might not go over well with certain parts of my audience, but I am not a Sonic fan. In fact, I would wager to say I'm a bit of a Sonic hater. I have really not enjoyed any Sonic game I've ever played. I had some fun with Mania, but every other Sonic game I have ever played has been mid to bad. In my opinion. Gotta clarify that with Sonic fans.
You freaking pricks!
Sonic also has his own racing game in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds that's coming out like very, very soon. So would Sonic ever be in the next Mario Kart? No, I don't think so. But considering Sonic is probably Mario's most iconic rival, and his entire gimmick is also going fast, this would not only be a fitting inclusion, but an incredibly cool one that would no doubt be raced by at least a couple of people in every single lobby. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting the like button and commenting down below. We're so excited to learn more about this Mario Kart game on April 2nd, so if you want to see a bunch more Nintendo content and make sure that you get to see what we think about it when it gets shown off fully, hit the subscribe button because it's really the best way to help out. With that out of the way, I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop, signing off, peace.